Good morning. Maybe I should, how do I say it? Maybe I should put like some music up to start because it's such a rough, I mean, you're sitting there waiting for me, and then all of a sudden I show up. How are you this morning? It's Saturday morning, and if you know anything about real estate agents, this is the time to shine. It's the weekend. I have so much going on today, and it's going to be dicey. It's dicey. Today is our 20th consecutive live stream at 9. I don't think they've all been at 9. I think there's been a couple that have been in the afternoon, but this is our 20th consecutive live stream. And what have I learned from live streaming? Not much. I learned I can talk for an hour, but I knew I could talk for an hour because I talked for 2 hours. I learned that I can have unlimited content. I mean, I can provide as much content as you can imagine. I was worried that I was going to run out of things to talk about. Well, it turns out if you don't want to talk about one thing, you just find something else. It's not hard. What else did I learn? Getting views on YouTube is a lot harder than you would think, especially in the real estate space. Dicey. I mean, I've got 51 subscribers. My live streams aren't attracting anyone. So I'm starting to think that they would attract real estate agents because I'm not competing with anyone. So like say you're from a different state. Why not watch my live stream? Maybe you're sick. Like I could see when I watch car shows at night, it's because I'm trying to get away from real estate. But I'm doing it all day. Maybe that's not the right person to watch my live stream. But maybe it is. Maybe you want to learn something or want to just see what somebody else is thinking without the ability to kind of be swayed. I'm not really fighting a cold. I'm fighting some sort of, I don't know what it is. I did take some cold medicine, and so my voice is a little bit down today. I apologize. It's not from overuse. It's just something, woke up with a cough. I feel fine. I'm going to continue the live stream, and that's all there is to it. Behind me, I'm going to point to it. This is the wrong hand because it's always backwards. Okay, so right here, you can see a new lamp. Why is there a new lamp in the set? Well, I put up a whiteboard yesterday. Well, I tried to. Wanted to go over that with you. The whiteboard installation was bad, and I bought a nice whiteboard off of Amazon, and I bought one that's like the glass kind because I didn't want to have that ghosting that goes on the other whiteboards. Paid good money for it. In my studio / office, I don't have a lot of space. I have a bunch of stuff kind of everywhere. It's pretty bad. I'm kind of embarrassed by it, but I'd bought it. It was sitting there, been there for about a week, and finally I said I just need to get it put up. And so I've been in construction, or I had been in construction for, I'm going to say 8 to 10 years, residential. So I felt like I could really easily put this whiteboard up and not have an issue. Didn't have a plan going in, but when I opened the box, it had instructions, and so I decided to use that. And inside the box, it had a template. Now, I've had a lot of success with templates, especially for like putting televisions on walls, the mounts, no problem. But the whiteboard itself is 4 feet by 3 feet, okay? And apparently, when you get a piece of paper that's that big and then folded in half, even when you put it up and you lay it out the way it should be, there's like a little crease, and that moves the dimensions off. Now, that to me, that wasn't going to be an issue because I had it level and everything. And so what you're supposed to do is put the template up, then you're supposed to drill your holes or put in your anchors, and then you put up the whiteboard. Now, the whiteboard itself is heavy. I can't do it by myself. I had to have my wife help me. But when we went to put it up, the first time, the bottom holes didn't even come close to matching. And then the second time, 3 of the 4 holes. But it's a terrible setup. The anchors for the anchors, well, part of the problem is I ran into 2x4s on one side. I ran into just a blank wall on the other, which I shouldn't have. If you think about it, I should move it over just a little bit and it would be perfect. But the biggest problem is They have really nice anchors. You can't see the caps. I'm going to cough, but I'm going to cough off the mic. God. So the anchors are very nice, and I'm very happy with them. The problem is that the holes that they made in the whiteboard itself are too small to where if you miss by just a little bit, you can't put the thing in there. You can't put the connecting piece. So I've got a whiteboard that's kind of put up, but not really, which is embarrassing as somebody who's been in construction for 8 years in the past. Now, I believe that you lose your abilities if you don't use them. So, I mean, how do I put this? So when I was in construction, if I needed like say I needed, well, before I was in construction, I fixed semi-trailers. I mean, you know, I've had it go. And it got to the point where you would just know what the size of the socket was without even looking. I mean, you look, and then you just go pick out the one that you need. You're like, oh, that's a 1/2 inch. Oh, that's 9/16. Oh, that's 7/16. It was no big deal. And now I just guess at half. I start half, and then if something, you know, it's bigger, it is. But then construction's the same way. Like your body kind of gets conditioned to do stuff a certain way. Like, you know, your shoulders, like, look, I don't know if you can tell, my shoulders are very weak compared to, I mean, they used to be out. I have no muscle tone whatsoever as a real estate agent. But you're measuring, keeping things level, things like that don't go well. Don't go well when you haven't done it for a decade or more, or sporadically. So let's just say a job I would usually do in like a half hour is going to take me like 4 hours now. And when I get done, I'm going to be in pain. It's just how it is. And you say, well, and I would say, this is what you pay for when you hire an expert. Well, I wouldn't say expert, a professional. If you hire a professional, their bodies are built and they're doing this all the time and they'll get it done and they'll do it right, hopefully. At least they won't be, I don't know, some of them are tricky. There's some tricky folks out there. So, like I told you, today has been like rush around. I've been up since 6. Wife was up at like 4:30. What did I do? I studied I'm trying to learn Bosnian. The Bosnian language is also the Serbian language, which is also the Croatian language, pretty much the former Yugoslavian language. And it's not easy. My wife is from Bosnia. Those of you who understand the language would say that there's subtle differences between Croatia and Bosnia and Serbia as far as the way they speak. I'm okay with you saying that. I know it's true. I mean, like in Croatia, you say bok. Everything's bok. Bok. That's hello. We don't do that. We don't do that in Bosnia, apparently. So I'm going through a service. But I've been doing it for like 3 years. And I start and I do really well, then I stop. And then I go to a party and everybody's speaking Bosnian and I feel like an idiot. So I start again. And this is probably going to go on the rest of my life. But anyway, so I studied that. And then usually I work on the show between 8 and 9 and stream at 9. But today I had to get a shower. My wife made breakfast. And I mean, have to eat that. So, I mean, I'm just going, and first showing today is 10. Second showing is at 1. And I thought what would be kind of nice is if I went over that with you. So I'm going to do kind of a weird thing with that. I'm going to go to a window, and then I'll take you to the window. And, you know, you can say whatever you want about Google, but sometimes they're the best. When it comes to like a map, I mean, it blows DuckDuckGo out of the water. So I'm going to the maps now so that we can. So I'm gonna put you on the screen and see if it's okay. So here's St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, and I live right here. Like, this is Higgy. Actually, I live over here. I live right about here. So, and there's a school here. Actually, that's a cemetery. That's the school, and then right here is where I live. So the first place I'm going to go is a place called Tower Grove South. So up here, go there. So this is Tower Grove South, okay? Traditionally considered Tower Grove Park, or Tower Grove South. So why is it Tower Grove South? Well, Tower Grove Park is right here. And as we discussed yesterday, Shaw is on the other side of Tower Grove South. There's Tower Grove East, which in my opinion is kind of trying to get its stuff together still. There's Compton Heights, which is really where the just wealthy live in this little section here. And there's Fox Park, which is growing. But anyway, so you go here, and this is where I'm going to be showing houses. It's bordered to the north by Magnolia, to the south by Chippewa, which is Watson in the county. It changes. It's to the west is Kings Highway, and to the east is Grand. Now, I guess I would say that I would agree with that. I'm kind of more like Morganford. Over east is where we're looking. So, well, what are the things you want to do then? Let's say you're wanting to, say you're looking for a house and you want to buy one, and first thing you do is take a little map, okay? Take your little guy and just put him somewhere here, okay? Okay, and now you're there. So now we're in Tower Grove South. And just walk around. I mean, this is Roger Place. So you're going to have, probably back this way, you're going to have, well, there's the real estate company, but let's go this way. I think if we go this way, we'll have Friendlies, if it's still there. But I mean, maybe they got crushed by the situation. I don't know. Is it that far away? I think it is. But I mean, just kind of look around. We couldn't do this, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But we can do it now. And we should. I think it's off Miami. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're getting there. I might have missed it. But anyway, I mean, this is basically how you do it. Yeah, that's boring. Well, you can go drive it too. But it gives you a good idea, like, hey, what am I dealing with? So anyway, we go to Tower Grove South. This is it. And it's fun. And then I'm going to go back to the map because, am I on Roger? There's a nice little coffee company up here. Right there. I mean, that's just the way it is. So we look and look, we can see that the houses they're doing work to them. Okay. We can see that this area has grown significantly since I was a youngster for sure. Anyway, that's Tower Grove South. It's in the city of St. Louis. Okay. Now, the next house I'm going to show is in Crestwood. It's the Lindbergh School Districts. So I don't remember the address. So I'm just going to look up Crestwood. Or Crestweed, buddy. And it's going to show us Crestwood, okay? Now you're like, oh, this is how Google Maps works. Thank you so much, John. I didn't know. Well, I'm just telling you what I do. Maybe you didn't know that this is what people do when they want to look at houses and they don't want to drive over there at first. Just get an idea of the neighborhood. So we take our little guy. Now, I think that, I mean, I pretty much know the house is going to be somewhere. And I don't want to give you the exact addresses. I don't want you to think that, I don't want you to follow me to my showings and stuff. But that's what I do. And by the way, this is a great thing to do if you This is a great thing to do if you, I like how that's all buzzed out, kind of. Walk the streets, drive the streets. This is what you should do. Okay? I'm just trying to help. That's what I do. Somebody calls me. I mean, like, these are in two very different parts of town. One's in the county and one's in the city. Weird things about city of St. Louis is that it's very small and it's part of its own municipality. And then St. Louis County is the municipality that surrounds St. Louis City, and it's its own municipality. It's its own county. And then it has like 98 different little things. I think the city has, gosh, it has a lot of neighborhoods. I think there were 90 neighborhoods or something. But anyway, the point is, do some research. If someone calls you as an agent and says, hey, what do you think about me selling my house at this address? Well, then you go on Google Maps and look at the address first. And you can talk to them right while you're there. I don't know every single street in this. I mean, I don't have every single street. I don't have every single address, and I don't have every single house memorized in St. Louis City, St. Louis County, Jeffco, and St. Charles County. But to me, this is the argument against the neighborhood expert. The quote-unquote neighborhood expert knows everything about a particular spot. And what I found about that is, number one, it's not true. It's a perception. Number two, it kind of makes you less sharp because you really should be looking at other places. I mean, how would you know if, how would you know if something in Fox Park that's 2,000 square feet compares to something in Crestwood for 2,000 square feet? You would have no idea. And so you have to look it up every time. Don't be lazy. That's the neighborhood expert, is lazy. Well, I sold this house last month for this price, and now that the house, 5 houses down, is going to sell for this price. Well, that's good, but what about across town? Say, well, I don't work across town. Well, maybe you should. I'll take a listing wherever. I don't have a problem with it. I'll take a good listing, or I'll take a bad listing. I think some people, some brokerages, like, they cater to the wealthy, but they don't really cater to the wealthy. They cater to people that believe that they're wealthy or aspire to be wealthy. And so they end up showing houses like in, I don't know, let's say Shrewsbury they end up listing those houses, and that's not luxury. Huntley is, Ladue is, certain parts of Ladue. But anyway, Frontenac. Yes, those places are luxury. Shrewsbury's not. So don't let the advertising of some brokerage fool you into thinking that you're the only luxury game in town, or that you can't have. If you get a good agent, they should be able to help you out no matter what part of town you're in. You're a neighborhood expert. Now, that's a funny thing. So I lost a listing this year to a millionaire. I didn't say millionaire, $1 million house. I think they're pretty poor, but they just like to carry lots of debt. And I lost the listing to a guy that lived 2 houses down from them. Now, they're perceived as wealthy. The neighborhood is wealthy. It's $1 million homes in St. Louis. That's well above the average price of a home. But they worked with the guy close to them. Whereas if my neighbor lists their house, they're probably not going to list it with me. Now, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. Some people stick out for their own, and then other groups not so much. And what I say is other groups, I'm talking about economics in this point. Wealthy people tend to stick together, and they tend to exclude people that aren't. And people in my class, and maybe middle class, maybe upper middle class, don't necessarily think the same way. They're much more sensitive to things like pricing of services, family. It's very interesting. I'm not going to write a book about it. I'm sure somebody already has. But just know it's out there. if you didn't already. Let's go on. I might actually run out of topics today. I mean, that might happen. I'm not going to try and go slow. I'm just going to keep going. But if I run out of topics, we'll talk about something else. One of the things that I wasn't able to do right, and I'll work on it, is I got an email yesterday that I thought was interesting. I don't have the ability to bring the email up because I don't want to show you my email because it's pathetic. There's like 16,000 messages in there. But I thought the email post was interesting. I was going to read it to you, and then I thought we could just discuss. Okay? That's the plan. So here we go. It says, it's titled "The Fall of the iBuyers." Now, if you've watched anything in the past from me related to iBuyers, you know that I'm not a fan of iBuyers for a couple of reasons. One is they haven't shown they can make a profit. Two, they've got so much money behind them that they can still be in business without making a profit, which makes me uncomfortable because I have to profit. I have to make a profit or I can't keep going. So I feel like they have an advantage over me that I just can't beat. The top executive to those companies are going to be worth millions, regardless of whether or not their business succeeds or fails. My business, I'm only going to be worth millions if people use me to buy and sell real estate. I don't have big banks backing me. Now, this is the competition, though. This is the game. This is the field I'm playing on. It's not a complaint. It's an observation, but it's why I don't like the iBuying program, because I feel like they're not playing in my pool, basically, correctly. So let me just read it. It says, is the fall of Zillow offers marking the fall of iBuyers at large? Ryan Serhant, broker of New York City-based Serhant, thinks so. In a Real Trending podcast airing January 3rd, so I mean that's a month away, he has strong thoughts on this topic. He says, we are creating relationships around a real estate transaction, whether it's on the buy side and the sell side, funding side or development side. There's a lot of technology out there that's going to make the process of buying and selling a home better. But I think you have to look to Zillow as a classic example of how a computer can't hold anyone's hand. It just can't. In the fall of iBuyers, Zillow went first. The rest are going to go. It's just a perfect example of how an algorithm can't beat a real estate agent being there in person. I tend to agree with him. Now, are we biased? Probably. We're both real estate agents. The email goes on to say, Zillow certainly appears to have used an algorithm that was not sustainable. A catastrophic pricing failure sunk Zillow's business. Now, if that sunk their own business, what do you think about their estimates for your house? I mean, they've been bunk for so long. But anyway, but does this spell the end of iBuying as a business? Is Serhant correct? It's been shown that flipping homes is a low-margin business, and along with Zillow, iBuying companies Open Door and OfferPad have consistently lost money. A quote. This is from Steve Murray, who is he has this company Real Trends, or had a company Real Trends, and they look at real estate valuations for brokerages for sales. But they follow the industry pretty closely, and he's quoted saying, I never quite figured out how Zillow or any of its competitors in the home purchase business were going to make anywhere near the returns that their stock prices indicated. There's just not enough margin in the home buying and flipping business to add up to a strongly profitable business, at least from my point of view. And this is where it gets, it's true, okay? It says, however, iBuyers are expanding their market share. According to another fellow, in Q3 2021, iBuyers accounted for 1.6% of all homes purchased in the U.S. That's around 28,000 homes, nearly double the 15,000 homes purchased by iBuyers in Q2. Now, that is a quote, but if you know a little bit about the business, you would know that Zillow bought the majority of the homes while the other two companies were scaling back. And so Zillow's out now. So will that number ever get higher? Maybe. But right now with the kick at Zillow, I don't think it's gonna be higher for a little bit. So some consumers clearly like the idea of a quick sale. And if the consumer wants an iBuying option, brokerage firms will probably want to provide it. Now, I think the biggest concern with people when they list their homes is that it's not going to sell. I don't know where that comes from. I can assure you that any house you put on the market will sell at a certain price. It may not be the price you want. Maybe that's the concern. But every house will sell. The fear of not being able to sell something is not one you should concern yourself with. It says, perhaps iBuying as a standalone business is desired to fail. However, what if it's offered just as one product of many? Reality, which is like the back of Century 21, Coldwell Banker, and a few others. I don't know all their brands. Maybe Better Homes and Gardens, maybe, but don't quote me on that. And Keller Williams seem to be trying this. What if the business isn't relying on building a profitable business out of iBuying and instead sees it as a value add in their service offerings? Well, and that's really the way it has been. If you look at the major real estate broker in St. Louis, the biggest team, the biggest group of agents, they live off of, if you can't sell your home, we'll buy it. It's essentially iBuying. Okay, that's essentially that market. So there's that. Now, I'm angry. I'm angry because I wanted to find for you an article that I read yesterday, and I just haven't been able to find it. And I don't know why. I don't know. I don't understand where it went. But boy, it was a perfect article. And it was talking about, let me get back to my screen so I can be with you. It was talking about how teams, real estate teams, had higher margins and higher margins, lower advertising costs than brokerages. And I believe that. We run a hybrid team in my office, so it's myself and Jan. If I'm not at something, Jan is. But in that article, it talked about how over 60% of the leads converted by the team were people that they knew or associates that they knew beforehand, and only 30% was advertising, which is what I've suspected for a long time. I've always thought that the best real estate agent is the one that knows the most people and has some sort of relation, like family member, employee, employer, etc. I think that's how you get real estate business. And one of my biggest problems in the business is I don't have that. I'm a single, I'm an only child, and we just don't have a big family. A guy in Kirkwood does, and he makes millions a year. I just don't. I don't make millions. But my thought is while I'm not very outgoing, if you are outgoing, if you are interested in what I'm doing every day, you now have the ability to see me on a live stream. You have the ability to listen to me on podcast. So you know where I'm at. You know what I'm doing because I put it out there every day. What's the thought? Is it going to work? I don't know. So that's what I have so far. We have places to go. Google Trends takes us to, now this is political. I'm going to try not to be political, but I'm going to try and explain my perspective on this. And then if I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm an idiot in the chat, or you can write comments, afterwards, showing what a big idiot I am and how smart you are. Okay? Is that fair? Can we do that? Okay. Searches were down yesterday on Google based on what I saw. There were three main ones. They were all over 200,000 searches. One was Betty White. She's turning 100 and she's going to have a movie out next month in movie theaters about her being 100. I don't know about that. But I mean, I'd hate to write something about Betty White and then something happened to her. The second one was a show that I'm not familiar with, but it was spoilers. I don't want to send you spoilers. If that's okay. I just don't. And then The third one was the Kim Potter trial. Have you been following the Kim Potter trial? I tried, but I didn't really get very far. Let's go over the trial here. Okay, so basically, this is an upper level view. You can disagree with the characterizations that I make. I'm okay with that. Basically, there was a fellow that got pulled over, and I guess chaos ensued, and the police officer shot the fellow. That's the highest level view. She says that she thought it was her taser, and it wasn't a taser. It was the gun. So he's dead. So the biggest takeaway for me is you've got someone dead. That's bad. Everything after that is kind of dicey. Okay, so the fellow that was shot was black. So if it was a white fellow shot, would there be any commotion? I don't know. But they're framing this as this is during the time of the summer of love, as some have termed it in the United States. I don't know. I don't know about killing anybody. I don't know. I think it's wrong. Unless there's some reasons, there's some things where I'm totally okay with people checking out. Don't get me wrong. But if during the course of your job you kill someone, are you liable? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. It seems like you shouldn't be able to kill somebody on the job, no matter what job you have. Like, it seems like you would get some sort of penalty. White or black, any group, anyone that gets shot, any part of group you're in, you should not be able to do that legally. Now, accidents, I accept there's accidents. I don't know. I don't know what to do about accidents. I suspect, like, I saw the video. I didn't see it. I saw it at the trial. The woman shoots this fellow in his car as he's driving off, and is just loses it as far as, just wailing. And honestly, like, as I'm older, the human life is so precious for the most part that it's just like, I felt this feeling, this sadness. So what is to be done? I don't know. A trial is to be had. Charges are to be brought. I refuse to go with the narrative that this woman who worked as this police officer for God knows how many years just decided that they should start hunting people. I mean, come on. Now, you can have your problems with the police department. And that's what this case to me is all about. It's more about everyone has assigned some sort of view on the trial and on society's ills, and they've placed it over the top of this trial. I don't know. The interesting thing about this trial to me is, as I've told you, I don't like when people get killed. I just don't. For any reason. This woman, her claim, or this police officer's claim, is that she was using a taser. She wasn't even trying to kill the person. So, as we've gone on, we've talked about over the years, lethal force, police officers using lethal force when it's not necessary. Well, here, what do you do when somebody says they're trying to not use lethal force, and we're assuming that a taser is not lethal force? Or, I've seen a few things where it says people check out, if they've got heart problems or something, but an underlying issue that couldn't have possibly been known. I don't know. But there's the effort to not, and so this was an effort to not kill the person that ended up killing the person because the person used a wrong device. So that adds a layer. And then there's a final layer that says there's nothing that's justified. And I don't understand this, but this idea that it doesn't matter if the person is acting as a criminal, okay? That you are never allowed to even pursue someone that's got it, because you could go catch them later. It's the same idea, like now you're not supposed to chase after in high-speed chases because you can always just catch them later. It's not a view that I share. Not a view that I share. But it's a view that's out there. And then it's layered over this trial. So I don't know about justice. I always thought that was kind of a loaded word, or being weaponized in the United States. But I do believe in some sort of level of fairness, decency. And this trial is just, I wouldn't say it's a litmus test. What I've learned from watching Law TV or Law YouTube or LawTube is that, no one agrees necessarily, even the lawyers don't agree whether or not someone's guilty or innocent. And even if someone is guilty or innocent, how the trial is conducted makes a difference by determining guilt or innocence. So who the judge is, who the jury is, how the facts are explained, who arrives at the facts, expert testimony, which you and I know are, experts are dicey. It's in our business. So anyway, that's what it is. And so anyway, it was a mix-up. I don't know. Can you see the thing? Here, let me go to the... I don't want to spend too much more time on it. Oop, I hit the wrong button. There you go. I just want you to see that, it's out there. It says, it happened as another Minnesota police officer was standing trial for the murder of Mr. George Floyd. In court, Ms. Potter testified that she saw a look of fear in the face of a fellow officer during the scuffle, and the shooting caused several days of demonstrations. Footage of the incident in court shown last week showed Ms. Potter repeatedly yelling taser before firing a single shot from her pistol. She is later seen sitting on the pavement in tears. It's one of the more powerful things I've seen on video ever. Just this wailing, and just terrible. Ms. Potter resigned from the police force 2 days after the incident. In court, she said she did not want anything bad to happen in the city following the shooting, which had received widespread attention. She had been trained on taser since 2002, had drawn the weapon for de-escalation multiple times in her career, but never fired it. Similarly, she said she'd never fired a pistol in her 26-year-long career. She said she was very distraught, but I mean, you look at the video and she was. Ms. Potter's attorneys have argued that the use of force, including deadly force, was justified, claiming that Mr. Wright endangered the officers in an attempt to flee from arrest. So now what happens gets put into a trial format. So this is terrible what happened. Either whatever side you are on, or or whatever, let's say, color of the palette you have, I feel like we can say that this was a bad thing that happened. Okay, the death of someone was a bad thing. And the attorneys have argued that the use of force, including deadly force, was justified, claiming that Mr. Wright endangered the officers in an attempt to flee from the arrest. And so here's where we have that, what I talked about in this, fleeing from arrest, and is that dangerous to the officers, and how does that work? I don't know. 200,000 searches. Let's go to Houston, Texas. Let's look at some listings. That's what we like to do. That was a little bit too heavy. I apologize, but I did want to get it out there. So where were we yesterday? I don't remember. But the houses were like 2 million. And we went to Houston today, and look at the houses here. 29 million. Let's go see, what is a $29 million 5-bedroom, 9-bath, 17,400 square foot on a 4-acre lot, 4.5-acre lot? What does that get you? I did want you to look at, so Houston, Texas, the zip codes, 77019, 77024, 77019, 77019, 77019, 77024, 77019. Let's look at who's listing them. So Douglas Eilman, I hope I'm saying that right. They're not in St. Louis that I know of. They got the number 1. They've got the number 2. They've got not the number 3. Compass has the number 3 listing. The number 4 has Douglas Eilman. Number 5, Compass. Number 6, Douglas Eilman. Number 7, Compass. And finally, we get Sotheby's down here. So what does that tell you? It tells you that these 2 brokerages are really, really knocking it out of the park. I don't know the backstory. Compass hasn't been around that long, so maybe somebody moved from some other organization. Anyway, let's look at this first house. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's going to look like inside. $29.5 million. And here we go. So one of my pet peeves that I'll always talk about is $29.5 million. They've got 36 pictures. If your house is a $300,000 house and 2,000 square feet, I don't need 100 pictures. I'll just go to the house. How about that? So here we go. I don't know. That looks like the backyard. And that looks like the entrance. That looks like a tennis court. This looks like the outside. This is, again, the gardens, which to me just look like a lot of work. But who am I kidding? For 29 million, you're not doing it. Now, pet peeve that I've always had, I'd like to believe that I'm walking into the house. So my first picture inside should be the foyer, if there is such a thing, or foyer if they have that. I don't know the name of the word. I'm not that sophisticated, but I'm just saying, picture number 7 doesn't give me what I want. Picture number 8, now I don't know if I'm coming in the house or if I'm going out to the house, if this is the out or the in. Now, see, this is where you should have opened this door and shot it that way. That's me. I mean, it's nice. It's got art. It's got chairs that I don't know where you can even buy them. Probably not at Pottery Barn. I think this is a theater. I think this is a screen that comes down, but I don't know. That's nice. Like behind me, you can see like a bookcase. These people have a garden. That's a formal dining room, I would think. I mean, that's nice. This will not come through right with a picture. But I guarantee if you walked in there, it would be gorgeous. Like you would enjoy that. I don't know about this. Now, and to be honest, like I kind of rip on the pictures every once in a while, but it could be that Realtor.com lowers the picture, the pixels or something, or organizes them in such a way that doesn't make it clear. Okay, we've been in this room a little bit. I've got a hallway. We go to the kitchen. I'm suspecting this is a pool, but I don't know. It's got a 4-car garage. It's been on the market for 282 days. So, you know, well, why has it been on the market too long? Well, it's 29 million. And I don't think a lot of people have 29 million. This is a bit, not my thing. Not my thing. You couldn't pay me to live in that room. But it's nice. I mean, wallpaper, maybe. They say it's coming back in. I prefer it not. This is nice. You can, looks like you could swim in and out. You know, that's nice. There's a little river there. It's nice. What does it say? Anything interesting? Let's look at some property details. Has it been on the? Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. So it's just been listed since March of 2021. So that's nice to see. They started at 34.5 million. That's a bit much. That didn't work too well. Very small description. It says, personally designed for the owners in conjunction with legendary Robert A.M. Stern architects. Adagio, oh, it's got its own name, is perfectly situated on 4.5 acres in Homewoods on prestigious Lazy Lane. Completed in the early 1990s, Adagio is governed by classic details and reflects the fond regard for classic Italian architecture and to benefit from the bayou views and southerly light. 4 to 5 bedrooms in the main villa with an adjoining guest apartment and efficiency, as well as separate caretaker's residence. The interior finishes are quality materials. The interior finishes and quality materials are exceptional. Grand entertaining spaces, both indoor and out. Regulation-sized tennis court and 2-story garden atrium with pool and fountains. A very rare and exquisite offering. One of Houston's finest estates ever to become available for new ownership. Well, okay. So this is now 29.5. Now, it's in a different zip code. I don't know what that means. I'm not from there. 6 bedrooms, so it's got more bedrooms, fewer baths. Okay. 26,638 square feet on 4 acres. So just between you and me, which one would you choose? Just know that I don't play tennis. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. This looks like more my style. But, you know, I'd be wrong because it's been on the market for 500 days. It's got a 6-car garage, and they pay $29 a month in HOA fees. Do you believe that? Let's see the property history. Okay, so it was sold in 2000. This is 2021. And we get listing, remove, listing, remove, listed, remove, and now we've got listed. So since 2019, it's been listed. Okay. Escape to the English countryside in the heart of Houston at the manor on Carnarvon. A quintessential classic country estate designed with extraordinary quality, taking inspiration from some of Europe's finest appointments and details. Situated on over 4 acres, this masterpiece mansion, arranged over 3 floors, is meticulously crafted so every room looks over the park-like grounds, and I don't know what that means, gardens. Crafted in the finest luxury details, gold gilded accents, patina wall panels, 6 silk upholstered walls, vaulted ceilings, authentic walnut flooring, and French antique fountains. No detail or expense has been spared. One of Houston's most esteemed estates, private and secure, a wonderful blend of both intimacy and a place for gathering and entertaining. Well, I suspect they don't want me there. I'm just going to say I'm not going to get the invite. What do you think? So, $29.5 million. I want to cough. Your estimated payments are $154,000 a month. Let's go $155,000. What do we see here? Well, we got a beautiful garden, no complaint. We got a beautiful pool, no complaint. We've got this type of roof that stands out like that. That's pretty cool. That's a nice picture. But again, when you come in now, we're already in the kitchen. We didn't make it through the front door. And, you know, I'm just not living here. I don't even understand this. Nice theater room. 14 pictures. I mean, that's it. So you people that put in 100 pictures, you're crazy. Now, for $9 million less, we got a house here, 20 million, 4 beds, 4.5 baths, 7,000 square feet. I mean, let's be honest. This better have something more to it because it's a 1.63 acre lot. I mean, what is this? What is this? Why are we at 29 million? Or why are we at 20 million when this house here has 26,000 square feet? This house here has 18,000 square feet. This house here has 22,000 square feet. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? 45 pictures, been on the market 47 days. Enchanting, it says. I don't know. You're going to need to do an awful lot more for me, square footage wise, than this. Is it nice? Oh, see, they do the entrance. See, that's what happens. 20 million, that you can see the entrance. You can start in the foyer. Foyer. Is this a... Okay. This is in like a more residential area, it looks like. It's nice. Kitchen's kind of small. About the size of my house. Terribly ugly room there. And we're back in the kitchen. Oh boy. Guess that's the bathroom. It was built in 1950. I mean, it's dated. I don't understand the pricing on this one. Now, I'm not a real estate agent down there. I don't know. Maybe there's something, that I'm missing. But I mean, really, based on what we saw, you're going to do this for 20 million? See, I'm just not into it. I'm just not into it. 7,000 square feet, $20 million. I'd rather have this 18,000 square feet for $20 million. Or this 22,000 square foot for $17 million. And you say, well, it's not in the same part of town. I don't know, but it's in like 77019. It's in the same zip code. So, I mean, I'm missing something. This one here is 12,000 square feet. But nothing is under, here we go. There's 12 million for 7,800 square feet. I mean, I'm okay with that. But this house here does not make sense. It just doesn't. It does. I mean, the lot's even smaller. The lot's smaller. Square footage is less. Fewer bedrooms, fewer baths. Not as many amenities. And you're asking 20 million. Whereas you can have this one for 19.9. Only 19.9. 18,000 square feet. Been on the market 164 days. Now, understand I've been reading over and over that the luxury market is really where it's at right now. Like, we want to focus on luxury. You say, well, why do you want to focus on luxury? Well, it's 164 days. I mean, that's a long time to get your money. But when you do get it on 19,000 or 19 million, it's going to be a pretty good payday for somebody. I'm guessing, Kaminsky Ditzel is going to be able to buy herself some groceries when she closes on this house. Now, that's nice. So far, no argument here. Is this the front of the house, though? Or is this the back of the house? And maybe that should be the first picture. 31 pictures, $20 million. All right. That's nice. Nice gardens. That's nice. I don't know if that's coming into the house or what that is. This gets gaudy. And I don't understand that. And I don't understand that. And are those fans or lights? I don't know what that is. This is just kind of sad. A wine cellar? I mean, I hope people aren't, it doesn't seem like a warm kitchen or warm dining area. That's nice. There's a fish tank, probably a fish tank there. A bar, more TVs. Theater room, I love the theater room. I've got one in my house. That's different. I think this is like the kitchen. I think that's the stove. This here, like, to me is, come on. You got a $20 million listing and you put the same picture in. Like, seriously. And it's like, I could understand if you just put the listing up, but you've had the listing up for 164 days. Maybe get it fixed. So there's the room. And there's the room with stuff in it. So this is fake. But this one here did not have the fake. Oh yeah. Yeah, so this is, see, this is what they're doing. So this is what the thing is. This is what it will be if they add it in the listing. This is what it looked like before. Now that's what we're required to do in St. Louis. If we manipulate the listing pictures, is you have to show what it was originally and then put it in there. Okay, so that's what it is. Oh, I don't know. I'm confused. But, you know, I love this outdoor space. And now there's doors here. That's nice too. Okay. All right. Well, let's get back to let's get back to an article, like our bread and butter. The way I'd like to bring this up is, it was an article that I thought was interesting in the way it was kind of framed. It has a different viewpoint than I'm used to. It's, the title of it is "How Do I Pay for a House Without Paying Too Much?" And it was in Realty Times a couple days ago, 13th of December. Okay, so how do I pay for a house without paying too much? It says, you've searched for several weeks looking for the right house to make your new home. You finally walk through the door of a perfect house, but other people are making competitive offers to buy the same house. How much do you offer to pay without paying too much? Here are 5 points to consider. Now, I have an answer, and I'm just going to tell you my answer up front. Here's how much you pay for the house. Whatever you are comfortable with. Whatever you're comfortable with. So if you see comparative sales and you say, you know what, this price here is what I think, that's the price. It's not, I need to make a bid that's going to beat everyone else, because you're going to lose. Or if you win, you still lose. So that's, I know that sounds kind of silly, but that's how I would do it. Now, this says set your budget and stick to it. So my idea, make an offer that you're comfortable with. You have to know what your budget is. And you have to know the highest you'll be able to go comfortably if the house doesn't appraise. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, study the market. Yes. Yes. And that's how I'll give you comparative sales. We can look at houses sold that are similar. What did other people pay? Reasonably, what should we pay on this one? It says select a home you can gradually improve to be what you want over time. Now, I think that's true about any home. And I often struggle with this concept. Should you buy a home and immediately redo the kitchen and the bathroom? Or should you live in the home for many, many years and then update it before you move out? Well, there's probably an in-between there, and that's update it every once in a while, depending on your needs. I know people have a sense of regret at times. If there's no equity in a home and they've redone the bathrooms and the kitchen, and now they're trying to sell it, they feel a sense that they didn't even get to enjoy the improvements that they made. They didn't get their money's worth out of it. And in my humble opinion, many times people will over-improve and not really get their money out of it anyway. So then that argues that you should buy the home and fix it up immediately when you move in. Well, that takes cash, and you've just put down a large amount of it to buy the home. And the argument against that would be, in 20 years, you're going to have to redo everything anyway because it'll be dated. So it doesn't look like there's a good, perfect answer there. Number 4, strategize to get your offer accepted by the seller. Well, that's probably good. But I mean, that's going to be true with any house. And number 5, structure multiple positive exit strategies for a day in the future when you would need to sell the home or move out. So let's say something happens. This is the part of the article that I thought was interesting. What is your exit plan? So if they go over a few of them. It says, for example, values in the neighborhood have consistently been going up for several years. The chances are good that you can still sell the home and make a profit when you're ready to move in a few years. If the real estate market is not doing well one day in the future, you could rent the home, and tenants could make a profit if rent rates have been steadily increasing each year. For a third exit strategy, talk with your mortgage lender about a mortgage with a clause allowing you to sell your home one day to a buyer who could qualify for your mortgage company to assume your mortgage payments. I don't know how often that happens in this day and age. But anyway, what do you think? You should put that in the comment section below. Well, I'm not going to run it too long today. Like I said, I'm at my 20th consecutive live stream. What did we learn today? We learned that the Kim Potter trial is captivating the hearts and minds of the Google sphere. We learned that, in my opinion, in Houston, you want to bring it with a house, and you're in the $20 million range, it better be above 10,000 square feet. Find an exit strategy when you want to buy a home. If you had to sell the home tomorrow, what are you going to do? You have one. Do you have an exit strategy? We learned that I can't put up a whiteboard. I'm very bad at it, and I'm going to need to do it. I'm looking at it right now. That's why I need to do a better job. Need to go to the hardware store. We learned that there's a light back here that I don't like on, and it shows shadows because my lights are in front of me. That's about it. I have like a little cough. I don't think it's the Rona, but I'm not a medical professional, so don't take my advice. That's all I have for you today. Please, reach out, put something in the comment section, chat with me, watch my podcast, Dear Realty and Friends. Be a part of my community, even though I don't want to be part of any big community. I want my own community. I want you to be part of it. I'm going to go show houses today. Might make some offers. Might not make any. We'll know tomorrow. Well, we'll have an idea tomorrow. I normally like to let people think about it. That's what I have. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Sunday for another live stream. Come join me.